Pugh. That'll do it! That will do it! Pugh for Bournemouth! The roof of the Gold Sands is raised! Everyone here knows what that could mean to this football.
Hello, good afternoon, Bournemouth fans. It was 3-1 to the Cherries today against Boro, and domestic football is back. Hello, old friend. The familiar feelings of expectation, excitement, frustration, and also anger. I think we had all those today, plus we had insanity as well, the definition of which is repeating the same stuff and expecting the different results. And at 1-1, I felt like that a bit, and I felt very resigned. So how nice it was today to be proved wrong. Mr. Tiggs, you can put your expected goals chart back in the drawer and bring it out another day when it suits our fickle narrative, because today we scored a goal inside the first 20 minutes. That's a stat for you there, Kirk. But then our chances dried up, and then we did what we do and concede. But we then scored to make it 2-1 almost instantly, and then we scored again. And to be fair, we could have gone on to score another. Cherries getting 3 points. It really is Good Friday. And for one lucky viewer, they've won a mug, because in our preview show, we asked for the goal, the score, and also the first goal scorer. Heather got it bang on the money. Philip Billing to score first, 3-1. A new mug is coming to you soon, Heather. Well done on that. Right, if you want to get involved today, you can take part. At the top of the screen there, that's the link. It's afcbpodcast.com/take part. Just grab a mug, grab a beer, grab some headphones, grab whatever, plug it in and go to that address. And first person we're bringing in, warm welcome back to Morgan Scott. Morgan, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. A great introduction, Sam. Maybe not a mug, or maybe you have got a beer, but I got some tonic water to take the mick out of Willow for here. Maybe it was champagne football today, who knows? But yeah, no, great to be back, so thanks.
Brilliant. Yeah, glad to see you here again, Morgan. And you're a happy cherry this afternoon.
Yes, you mentioned, Sam, you started the show really well, and you mentioned and you had 1-1, and I kind of had. It was just like thinking, are we gonna muck it up again? There was a shaky moment, I thought, where it went back to Begovic and he gave it to Carter Vicker, but in all that we got the job done, and now we've got another 8 cup final. They are cup final that we have to play for. We want to go back to the Premier League, their final, and we have to win. Today wasn't the prettiest performance. Again, I'm not going to say it was brilliant, but it was a game of 2 halves and we came through. So, no, excellent. And it's just really, really nice to sit here on Good Friday and have a good feeling about ourselves again. So, yeah, really, really good. And the sun's out, so what more can we want, eh?
Remember, if you want to put your chats on screen, you can do so, and we will make sure that they are put on screen with a super chat. If you want to, that guarantees your message will go on screen. But if not, I'll try to get as many other comments on as possible. So we're going to bring in Dylan at this point, and also George. We're going to bring him in early doors. First, Dylan, how are you, mate? 3-1, happy days.
I'm great. You?
Yeah, very well, very well. What do you think of that?
What do you think I'm going to say? What's my catchphrase by this time? Philip Billing, Ballon d'Or, goal and assist. Easy. Done deal. Great.
And you know what? Woodgate's managing to get some good performance out of him by putting him further up the pitch, isn't he? I mean, there were a couple of games earlier in the season under JT, he was in that position, but it seems to be his regular, starting position now under Woodgate, and he's done really well, Dylan.
Yeah, that assist from Danjuma, I think it was Danjuma, very underrated, how he just kicked it over. And then when Billing hit it, I thought this is probably either going to go in the stands or it's going to miss. And then he slotted it, and I was like, fair enough, prove me wrong. Even I didn't expect him to score that, but props.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can hear any noise in the background today, someone nearby is doing some DIY or some lawn mowing or something. Hopefully my mic's not picking up too much, and it's just really annoying, but it is that kind of lovely, it feels like a lovely summer day. But George, how you feeling, mate? We are going up in brackets. Really? Are we?
I mean, if that Barnsley game goes our way, we're well in there.
Yeah, that's right. And, there's a gap forming. And do you think that's possibly killed off their hopes of playoffs in Middlesbrough?
Yeah, they might get it next year, but I don't see it.
So, who stood out for you today in a red and black shirt, George?
Got to be Phil Bell. He was.
Oh, how
he was
times have
doing
changed.
everything. He was defending. He scored one. He was linking up everything. He's doing what we need from him.
And there were a few performances today I thought, that were worthy of note. I thought, Dan Juma in the first half especially seemed to get more freedom down that left side. I think his final ball probably wasn't particularly great, but then he backs it up recently with numbers, either with goals or assists. And once again, he had his back to goal and he just lumped it over his head for Philip Billing. And I thought the ball was actually too close to him to get a decent half volley off, but he took it really well. But then the usual things happened, George. We sat off, we didn't create many chances. And when Middlesbrough did score, it was hardly a surprise, was it?
No, they looked like they were having way more chances, and then we sort of set back, and then he made the sub of Stacey, and I thought that was a great sub, subbing in on right wing. He was bombing down the wing, doing what Stacey does, and I think he did he put a pass in? What created that goal? No.
Yeah, that's right. I just thought, all over it. It certainly was much improved. So certainly nice to see. And 3-1. Then we need to follow that up on Monday against Blackburn, don't we, George?
Yeah. We need to keep that game in hand, on our side, and keep picking up points and staying above Reading, and maybe possibly, it's possible now, we can go above Barnsley.
Yeah, absolutely. George, cheers for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it. We're going to whip through as many people as we can. Thanks very much. Cheers, bud. We are going up. Closing comments, Dylan?
Absolutely amazing game. I would probably try and start Philip Billing for the rest of the games that we have. I would start him.
Wow, fair play, mate. You said it. Dylan, thanks very much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Cheers, buddy. Right, Aaron's coming on next, and we've also got David Cordell in Washington as well. Start with you, Aaron. How are you today? 3-1 win.
Yeah, very good. Nice to see you back, Morgan. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you.
It was all about the result today. After what seemed like an eternity since our last league game, it was just really important to get the result for us. Also, basically knock Middlesbrough out of it, essentially, as far as I'm concerned. And Cardiff's result was fantastic as well. So obviously things can change very quickly, but it kind of looks like 7 teams now going for that top 6. It's an interesting one because we scored 3 goals, won the game. But we still weren't convincing, which shows, if we ever did click, how devastating we would actually be. And I thought defensively we were solid pretty much. I thought the whole back four, including Rico, to be fair to him, played well today. I'll bring Kelly back in simply because I think he's a better player. So he obviously didn't play today because of the international duties. I thought first half we looked really an attacking threat. As you say, Sam, Danjuma was running mock down that left-hand side, but he completely disappeared in the second half. I actually had to remind myself he was even on the pitch, actually, in that second half. And I thought Jack Wilshere dictated the game well first off, but again, tired. So I know it turned out okay in the end. I was actually crying out for Pearson to come on when we were 1-0 up because I felt that we were beginning to lose in midfield. Then when they scored, I thought, here we go again, because it's just another game we're going to throw away. But then when Pearson came on, we did really control that midfield, and I thought him, Jeff, and Billing, the 3 of them were absolutely superb. So not convincing. I still maintain firstly that Dom's isolated. I think the first half, Phil Billing was getting closer to him, but there's something still not for me that's there as an attacking threat. I think the defense is solid. The midfield are creating. They're flexible. They are creating, and Dom is working his socks off, and obviously scored a great goal today. But I just think if we're really going to go on and get into the playoffs, which I think we will, go on and win it, then we just need to be more ruthless up front. I know it's difficult after having scored 3 goals today to say that, but I just still feel there's just something missing up top.
Yeah, and you're right. When we have so many chances, it felt like the final ball at times today was really poor from out wide. Our low crosses, Danjin was sort of miskicking it at times, and even Lerma's goal to make it 2-1. Even that cross was poor, and it was just fortuitous that it actually fell to him. And I feel as though our crosses from out wide, whether it's a corner, a free kick, or if we're on the counter attack, they're just really bad at the moment. Technically, I'm sure stuff that Woodgate wants to improve on, but just thankfully we got the win, and it's quite nice to come out of this with 3 points, yet with still things to improve on, which is a good thing. David is there in Washington. How are you, sir? Long time no see.
Yeah, I've kind of been staying off because it was so depressing, but that was a good performance. I thought the first half we were brilliant. I thought Danjuma was great. I thought Billy goal was fantastic. Defense was solid. I think Pearson made a really good improvement in the second half when he came on. And I got to give credit to Dom. Not only was his work rate great, but the way he scored that goal, that reminded me of McDougall, right? He had a shot, it was saved, and he followed up and scored. And that, to me, is what goal scorers do. It's the follow-up. So for me, great performance. I think we're going to go up. I'm gonna go out there. I think we're gonna get it. I think we're definitely gonna get in the playoffs, and then it's a bit of a lottery because it depends on how you play in the semi-final and finals. But hopefully, you guys will get it out at Wembley, and we'll be celebrating Premier League.
We are so fickle as football fans. It was the end of the world only a few games ago, and now you're thinking we're going to get back into the Premier League, David. What's going on?
You know what? We went through a bad spell in the middle of the season. When JT left, and I wasn't sure about the management appointment. But if we are able to get a few wins together, get into the playoffs, it's a whole new game. We have a saying in the States with playoffs: you have the season and then you have the playoffs. It's a new season. So just because you finish third, even if you finish third by 12 points, it's a whole new season. So this is the time when you want to start playing well, and you want to start playing well between now and the end of the season. I'd rather be us than Reading, let's put it that way.
I think teams will fear us. I do. I mean, I said a couple of weeks ago, much as I hate them, Watford, Norwich can go up as far as I'm concerned, because they're the two teams I would fear in the playoffs. I know we've obviously lost to Barnsley, but we obviously beat them as well. We lost to Reading, but we beat them as well. Brentford, we lost to. Obviously, haven't played them yet at home, and Swansea. None of those teams, I don't fear any of them in the way I would Watford and Norwich.
Right.
And I think that they'll be scared of us now. They'll think, oh, all we need is now for Bournemouth to click, and they could win the playoffs. So let them fear us.
And it's about clicking at the right time, right? Now is the time that you got to click. Middle of the season, I mean, yes, it would be nice to go up in the top two because then you're guaranteed promotion. But if you're going to make the playoffs, you want to be going into form. And Barnsley is the one team that would worry me in the playoffs because I think they're clicking as well. But
you'd like to think that we got big game players who don't always turn up at your Barnsleys and all these other teams. But if in the semi-final of the playoffs and hopefully if we get to Wembley, the sort of players we've got, you'd like to think that quality would show through. And if they're not up for that, then forget it.
Well, and to be honest with you, I think if we don't go up, then we're going to lose a lot of the players. We may lose a lot of the players anyway, to be honest with you. But this is, and it's a catch-22 situation because one of the fears of going up is if we go up, do we have the depth of squad to allow us to stay up, or are we going to struggle next season? So that's something we have to bear in mind too. But it is nice to be positive. It's better to see us playing well and winning. And as you said, Sam, I don't think we played particularly well today. I don't think we were fantastic. But if we can play like that and win 3-1, imagine what it'll be like if we play well and score goals.
Yeah, absolutely. David, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Cheers. Take care. And I'll post the link on chat a bit later on. The room looks full at the moment. So if you come in now, you'll probably get a message saying it is full. I'll post it in about 20 minutes time. Okay. And Morgan, so let's just talk about the starting lineup that you saw today. Were you happy with what you saw?
I was wondering where Brooks was considering he was meant to be fit. And he looked really, really good in training. I know that's only an opinion from what you're seeing in training, but I was quite surprised, if I'm honest, that he wasn't even in there you go. You beat me to it. David Brooks going through illness, not COVID related, and also had illness. Okay, so that might be why came off. Maybe it was a mixture of fatigue and a bit knackered at the end there. But no, I was surprised. But now you just put that up. I now know why David Brooks. So thanks that. But the only other player I would be looking at is Sam Savage. I think when Sam Savage comes on, he runs the channel so well. 22 years of age, and he has got so much energy. And whenever I see Sam Savage plays, he plays so well. If it's 20 minutes, if it's 45 minutes, and I just don't understand what it takes for a player at 22 years old to go and play football. Or as a kid, you want to go and play football. You have that energy, and for today, okay, we can forget it for today. But when he was about to make them substitutions, no disrespect to the players that he was going to bring on, I would have definitely brought on Pearson and Aaron's head. But why Savage wasn't coming on to give Solanke a bit of partnership up top? Obviously, in the end, it makes it okay because Woodgate sorted it out and we won 3-1. Okay, we move on to Monday. But there was a bit of me when I had my pen in my mouth and I was thinking, are we going to get through it, or is it just going to be the same old story? And we have scraped through it today, but on a different day, we can have made a few more errors, and it could have just... But the positive energy back, I don't want to pick on the negative. We're going to hopefully go to Wembley and win. But yeah, no, it's just amazing to sit here. On a positive, I was down at the Vitality Stadium for the first time since the whole pandemic. So I think since the video that me and you did last summer. So it was nice to be back down there. And I was playing football outside the main team training pitch yesterday, so that was fair play. So thanks to the community for putting that on. But we push on to Monday, and I'll let someone else have a say now. So thanks for having me back, Sam, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.
Yeah, cheers, Morgan. Quickly, did you score yesterday, yes or no?
I hit the bar. I'm so sorry.
Oh, not good enough, not good enough. Morgan, thanks very much. Cheers for coming on. Really appreciate it. Cheers to Keith Thomas for the super chat saying Cameron Carter-Vickers, get the lad in on a permanent. Shades of Tommy Elphick. Thank you very much. By sending a super chat, it guarantees your message will appear on screen, and also it helps to support the channel as well. So we really appreciate that. And also to John as well, who also sent one too. Thank you very much, John. And he said, thanks to me. Thank you. Cheers, mate. Really appreciate your message. Thanks very much for that. So, closing comments then, Aaron. It is a good Friday, isn't it? And hopefully it sets up a bit of confidence and momentum with what could be an interesting trip to Blackburn, who I don't know what the full-time score was, but they were 1-0 down against Wycombe at one stage.
Yeah,
they did.
Lost. So yeah, I don't know if they'll be on the rebound or whether their confidence will be rock bottom, should I say. It's interesting what Morgan said. I think it's a potential game where you could go two up front, as we've shown away at Barnsley, away at Coventry, away at Birmingham, which solves the conundrum of Dom being isolated, but then you might lose that bit in midfield, which we've got. I can see that both sides, you either play three in midfield or two up front, so it's difficult to do both. I think Pearson comes in for sure, instead of probably Jack Wilshere, who probably can't play 2 games in 3 days. Ben Pearson away from home is a natural replacement there with Jeff. Other than that, it depends how Stan's feeling. If he obviously was feeling a bit sick because he kind of leaned over, and I thought he might have done his hip, but it was obviously stomach issues. If Brooksy's fine, then maybe there's a shout for him to start. Then if he's fit. Other than that, I can't see many changes. Maybe Kelly for Rico, but it obviously doesn't take the pressure off because we need to win. But a draw away wouldn't be terrible as long as you then beat Coventry and Huddersfield potentially. I know I've got the eye on the game this evening. I don't know what you think, because I'm in two minds. The natural thing for us is to want Barnsley to beat Reading so we stay in the top 6. But then the other side of the coin is if it's a draw, or even if Reading win, then Barnsley and Reading are close enough for us both to catch. Maybe we shouldn't put our eggs in one basket. So I don't think any result is bad for us. We might drop out of the top 6, but then if we do, it means Barnsley are catchable as well. So don't know what the rest of the result will be. Yeah,
there's lots of teams still playing each other, which can be of benefit to us, and that's one of them tonight. So I don't really mind as long as we keep winning. It is in our hands. So let's just hope that managers always say that they don't concentrate on the league table, and I kind of hope that's the case, because in a way, being 7th at 8 o'clock tonight is going to help us more than being sixth, because you know what we're like. We can be complacent, and I don't want any complacency anymore. I want players to absolutely go for it. So, to be honest, I don't really care what happens, but as long as we get the win and follow it up on Monday, it's all good. And I'm glad we won today as well, Aaron, because had we lost today, it will have really put the pressure on that Blackburn performance, wouldn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And I think, as I said, Cardiff and Middlesbrough now quite a few points behind us. That can obviously change, but they're running out of games. So I wouldn't say they're out of. I think Middlesbrough are out of it. I wouldn't say Cardiff are out of it because they're a decent team. But I think that they didn't follow up a great win at Swansea with a poor result at home to Forest today. So I'd like to think it's too much for them to do. So we just kind of concentrate on Barnsley, Reading, and maybe even Swansea the way they're playing.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate you coming on.
Sam. Take care.
Yes, thank you very much. So elsewhere, who have we got? We got Daniel. We got AFCB Latvia. That's Robert. We got Craig. We got James. We got Filippo. We got George, and we have got Ivan as well. So James is here. James, how you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
Very, very good. We got Daniel here too. Daniel, how's it going?
Hello.
How are you, sir?
Good.
Good. And Craig's not there at the moment. We'll bring him back in when he's around. And also Filippo too. Filippo, how are you?
Hi, Sam. I'm very good, and I'm trying without headphones because the audio was bad in the last times, and I had to leave. So I'm trying without.
It's clear. It's very clear as you, and fresh trim as well. Your hair's looking brilliant, Filippo.
Yeah. I had a cut few weeks ago at the beginning of March. Feeling glorious today. Yeah, the Cherries win, spring has come, Easter is here, and today's game we started really well, scoring the opening goal, and maybe in the last minutes of the first half and in the second half, we had a moment of confusion and Middlesbrough having chances, but their goal was coming in the second half. I think we all knew it was coming, but what I liked the most from the team today is that it was the response after the equalizing goal, because many games ago the team would have gone completely under pressure and being turned around as in the Barnsley game. So and this time we scored two goals in the space of a few minutes. Very good. It's a massive win with also Barnsley and Reading playing each other in coming in a few minutes, and that's all. More of this in the next game, please. Next games.
James, we took the lead. We scored inside 20 minutes. Kirk must be happy, but then we got into really good positions. We didn't take any of them. They hit the bar, which was a warning sign, and then in the second half, lo and behold, they go and equalise. Same old story, rinse and repeat.
I've literally got it written down here on my notes. Rinse and repeat for 60 minutes. That's the first thing I was going to say. It was we play like one of those dodgy Rico quick throws. The ones that are a bit. We play like, obviously I know how to throw it, but don't worry about that. Honestly, the first 60 minutes it was just rinse and repeat, because the first 20 minutes the link-up play was amazing in and around the box. It was so impressive. We got the goal, which was great. Balassi looked like their only threat, sort of coming forward, so it looked so comfortable. What happens to this team at half-time? I don't know. I mean, it was going on the descent. They hit the bar, like you say, and then we come out and we're begging for a change. Stanislas goes off, and the opportunity to change it and bring Pearson on and reassure that midfield happens. Woodgate doesn't take it. He brings on a third fullback, and Boro score. And all of a sudden you're looking, well, we've seen this before. We're even going to get a point out of this game now. Yeah. Luckily, we Pearson comes on, much needed change, exactly what we needed. And ultimately, this team just had too much quality for the Middlesbrough team. I don't think, again, it's difficult to criticise a 3-1, isn't it, really? Because anyone who's been Bournemouth fan for a number of years knows the 3-1's a fantastic result.
Yeah.
I think David's right in what he said previously. Playoffs is winning time. And looking ahead at the playoffs, looking at the teams in there, Swansea we've beaten well, and we haven't lost to them this season. I think Brentford blow a little bit hot and cold. I think Barnsley are very beatable. The team I kind of don't really want in there is Cardiff. I think they're one of the ones that could have our number. But I think in terms of teams shaping up for the playoffs, we're possibly one of the more favoured ones if we can just get it together. Because we will, like you allude to, we look like we can absolutely decimate a team at some point, but something happens in this team where it just doesn't quite kick on, you know.
What's quite scary is that I didn't actually think Boro were that great, but they seemingly had a large number of corners in the first half, and they seemed to get into positions and exploit certain areas of the pitch that they obviously know are very weak. And at times it felt, with no disrespect intended, but I suppose this is also disrespectful by the fact I'm saying it, that we made them look good at times. And it seems to have been the case with a number of teams this season, whereby that, you know, technically they're not brilliant, but, you know, they just seem to have, you know, the knack of, you know, having a foothold in the game. And I suppose, you know, that's maybe Neil Warnock's influence, James.
Yeah, quite possibly. And again, this is the thing I didn't want to, because you're going up a Neil Warnock side, so you know it's going to be difficult. You know it's going to be reasonably direct, reasonably physical. You know it's going to be one of these quote unquote tough championship sort of fixtures. So to come away with the result is the most important thing. But at 60 minutes, I don't think there's a Bournemouth fan who didn't have a different mindset at that point of kind of like, we've seen this before. And I don't know why the team lets other teams back in the games at that point in the game. But what we did do was we showed that we can come back and you know, Middlesbrough don't have many goals in them. So as soon as we had 2 on the board, it was likely we were going to get all 3 points, really.
Daniel, did you have school today over there in Florida?
So today is Good Friday, but I have school on Monday, so I won't be able to watch.
Okay, so you have school on Monday, but not today then. Okay, so you managed to watch the game then, because I was thinking about you, thinking he's not going to be able to watch the game, but you did. And what did you think of it?
It was amazing. My worry was when they scored. I was saying same old Bournemouth. It's just when we started winning again, it's when you get more happier, and I feel like this is one of those games that. Because this one, to me, is another very important game, because we got Reading. If they lose or draw, we can have a gap against them, and that's what I really want. So it was a win, or if we lose, bye-bye playoffs for me.
Yeah, that's right. But, you know, it's good. Now, can we now kick on and win another and then another? Because we've got Blackburn next. We've got Coventry, who we beat quite comfortably at their place. You know, now's the time for a run, isn't it, Daniel? I don't think we've won more than 2 games in a row all season. So this is the time where it really needs to happen. You are still muted there, by the way, but I suppose, to be fair, you nodded and you gave an answer to that question. So maybe I should have asked you to expand on that. But, I mean, when you saw Middlesbrough and Blackburn as the 2 fixtures over Easter, how many points were you sort of hoping to get?
I was hoping to get 6, but I had the feeling that it was going to be that situation. We win one and lose one.
Yeah.
So now if I think about it, you asked me the question, I'll say maybe 4. I don't know. I feel like we might draw the next one.
Oh, mate, don't say that. Don't say that. So anyway, let's talk about individual performances. A lot of praise has been paid to players like Ben Pearson. I think Solanke did well. Dan Juma, I thought, was fairly effective. What did you think of Jack Wilshere today, Daniel?
I feel like he's the player we need for passing. I didn't really see him go up top that much, but I feel like he's a really good player to make chances. So I feel like next game, I feel like he's more better as a super sub, but I feel like this game he helped the defense a little bit, and I think his passing is amazing. So I feel like that's only really good news for him, because he hasn't been running up the pitch today.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, Filippo, any players catch your eye?
Yeah, my man of the match is written down here in my name. It's gonna be Philip Billing, but also we were defensively good. I like the defense by Cameron Carter-Vickers, Steve Cook, and Adam Smith. But also as Chris Temple and Willow said during the commentary, it was a collective performance. It really was a collective performance, and we really missed that in the last few months, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know what? I didn't even realise your name said Filippo Billing. I just thought that was your name for a minute. Filippo.
It was a funny thing.
Yeah. Thanks very much for coming on, Filippo. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. Happy Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter. Take care, buddy. And also to Daniel up the Cherries.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. And also to Daniel. Thanks very much, mate.
Bye, guys. Thank you for having me.
Cheers. Thank you. We're going to bring in Robert from Latvia ever so shortly, but Ivan's here and also Craig is here. Ivan, you all right? You are muted at the moment, and Craig has left the room as well, unfortunately. So that's another space that can be used by you. So if you want to get on board, I've posted the link in chat. So go to afcbpodcast.com/take part. Let's bring in Keefy T then. Keefy, how are you, fella?
Keefy. Oh, I mean, punditry royalty today, isn't it? They're excellent stuff. Great game as well. A great win anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And nice to see you got a smile on your face. As have you, Ivan. Ivan, you right?
Hey, yeah, I'm a meter now. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Happy with that?
Yeah, that was a lot of positives. I usually come here and complain, like I come on and be like, man, they all did this wrong. But yeah, no, there's a lot of positives. I mean, a lot of people, Solanke scoring a goal, that was like a big positive.
Yeah.
And then, I think Filippo just mentioned it right now. It's like the team playing like a team. It's like, it's exciting. It's intense. I don't think I've been on since JW, like since Woodgate got appointed. And because I was very doubtful. And I don't know, I keep seeing the team every week on, and they just feel they look inspired. And I that. I don't know. I feel inspired. I'm like, yeah, guys, come on. But there's still there's still problems. I mean, the last 5 minutes of the first half, like you guys said, the same repeat story thing. It's like we score a goal and then we just kind of let them go through, and you're kind of like, come on, guys, like we have the power. Come on. But no, it's exciting. I mean, it's good that we have a thing. Like you said, it's a roller coaster of emotions. Like we go from we're hopeless to we hope, we don't hope, we hope, we don't hope, we hope, we don't hope. So we'll see. I mean, like David said, it's a catch-22. If we lose players this season, it might be, if we don't make it up to the rest of the Premier League, it might be okay. We're gonna be okay. But if we go up, I don't know if we have a team strong enough, but who knows? Maybe they show up and they're like, "Hey guys, we're really good." But it's gonna be.
I actually wish football was played like that as well. I wish you could just say things, and then that'd be amazing. I would love it. But yeah, no, you're right.
But we'll see. The last few weeks are gonna be exciting. My roommate, so my brother's my roommate, and my girlfriend, they're like, dude, why do you keep watching this? You're literally you wake up too early, you're yelling the whole time, why do you do this? I'm like, this is exciting, but it's also really angry at the same time. But I know, I'm hopeful. I think I think we'll make playoffs, hopefully, and if we don't, I think we'll be okay. I hope. But yeah, I mean today's good. It's a good Friday, like Chris said, and there was a lot of positives. I think that's the best part to take away from this. There was a lot of positives.
Brilliant, fair play, James. Closing comment before we switch you up. Thoughts? Move forward to Blackburn on Monday, I suppose. Now.
Yeah, it's going to be a really, really tough one against Blackburn on Monday. It looks like Shane Long's going to be out, which I know everyone's absolutely devastated over. Roro Riquelme, my man of the match for this match, because when he got his training top off, you could see the back four of the Middlesbrough were wetting themselves in anticipation for what he could bring. Took their eye off the ball, 2-1. Sit back down, Roro. Your job is done. Thank you very much. Looking forward to a big match against Middlesbrough on Monday night. The sun's out. Playoffs on the horizon, hopefully a semi-full Wembley to celebrate, and then the Euros after that.
James, you put it really well.
Oh, James.
We can have the enjoyment of seeing Bournemouth do well and the disappointment of seeing England get knocked out in the group stages. Cheers, James. Cheers, mate.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Keefy T coming to you next. We've got Craig, who is coming in shortly as well. Craig, 3-1. How are you?
Yeah, all right. Yeah, really good result. Yeah, really chuffed with it.
You know, obviously, good to take the lead, but we did the same old thing that Bournemouth do, and we sat back and we conceded. So I don't know if you've seen it before, but Mr. Tiggs brings out an expected goals chart.
No, I haven't.
And yeah, so what happens is the graph goes up, and then whenever we score, it sort of just levels off, which means we're not creating chances. And that happened again today. And Middlesbrough, they punished us, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. But no, it's a good result.
Yeah, absolutely. And what did you think of any individual performances? Like any players stand out for you today?
Yeah, Billing did. Yeah, Billing was really good.
Yeah, and what about that midfield three? Because Wilshere, I thought was probably one of his weaker games for a while.
Yeah, I thought we should have really put Pearson in there from the start. But then again, I think he's saving him for Monday.
Yeah. And nice to see Dom Solanke. I think Chris Temple said he had scored 1 in 11. And, Kirk always bangs about the fact that he hasn't scored 2 in a row since like 2015. Hopefully Kirk can come in a bit later and, tell us whether Monday will be that game. But I thought his general play was pretty good today.
Yeah, I think, I think he's got, a lot in his locker. It was good for him to get the goal. So, yeah.
Brilliant. Keith, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I actually thought Solanke was my pick for man of the match because of his work rate, his effort, chasing lost causes. There's a moment in the second half where it looked as though it was going to go out of play, and he chased it down and it went out for a corner. He had a good battle with their centre-backs. And again, he's so unselfish. If Stacey had put in that little cross through to him, I think he would have got a brace today. So, but it's very difficult to tell who the man of the match was. I thought CCV was excellent. Cookie, that's a lovely little partnership between Cookie and CCV. Let's get that lad in. I thought Billy the Goat, where he just pulls the strings in the midfield and give us that penetration and gets into great spaces and I think he gets the best out of Arnie as well. There was a time where he drifted out to the left and was working with Arnie and creating more space, and I thought, it's starting to come there. But I'm going to put a little bit of a brag because I said Stacey, shouldn't he be in up top? So I think that shows promise. Little bit work of delivery, but he just brings energy on that right hand flank that Smithy can't do. But there's a lot of positives, but another tough game to go. I think Pearson will be ideal for their 4-3-3. So let's keep it going, lads.
Brilliant, lovely stuff. We're going to mix it up. Craig, thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. Thanks very much, Ivan. Cheers for coming on, mate. Nice to see a smile on your face. There's smiles on the whole this afternoon. Before we bring in Kirk and John, we've got Robert from AFCB Latvia, and he is audio only. So, Robert, hopefully you can hear us at the moment. All good?
Yeah, hello.
Hello, mate. How are you? 3-1.
We won. We actually won. The game started, of course, with a really, really nice sun. It was really, really shiny. The game was perfect. I actually love the game. Finally, I'm actually back here. I'm finally watching, a Bournemouth game. That was a really, really nice game, for real.
It was. But is that how much of it were we being good, or how much of it were Middlesbrough poor, or do you think it was just a mixture of the two?
Of course, we scored the first goal. I was thinking maybe there's gonna be another goal. Maybe we'll score like 3 already. But there was an equalizer. The game was a bit boring, actually. The second half started, and the game was actually disappointing. I don't know. I mean, of course, we won the game. We now 3 points. We might be, let's hope we're gonna get in the playoffs. That's my only hope. I really hope for that. Of course, Reading are playing today. Let's hope they will draw. because if we win, we're going like 5th, I think. So yeah,
All right,
it's
okay,
not even
yeah.
that bad. I was really happy with Solanke actually. I'm actually the first guy who's saying this. I was actually really happy to see him back scoring, because I was actually thinking he will score today, because the guy is actually not that bad, if you ask me. The guy has scored like 11 or 12 goals this season already. So the guy is actually underrated at this point. Everybody was saying 20 million just wasted, the man's, oh, now I know this is championship, but
Yeah.
something had happened.
I tell you what, though, there's a certain Kurt Tovey that's standing by. We paid 20 million for Dom Solanke, and I know that there's a certain player with the initials of IT that he's going to refer to that was a quarter of the price, and he's banging them in at the moment for Brentford. But we'll talk about that very shortly, I'm sure. Robert, appreciate you coming on, mate. Thanks so much. We're gonna rattle through the guests. That's Robert from Latvia. Up the Cherries, mate.
Bye. Up the Cherries.
Up the Cherries. George is here as well. Hi, George.
Hi, you're right.
Yeah, mate. Everyone's smiling. Well, most of us are. 3-1. All good, eh?
Yeah, no, that was good result, definitely. I was going to be honest. I was listening to that on 5 Live in the background, and I heard Middlesbrough went 1-1, and I was thinking, oh no, here we go again. But I don't think. Well, I think it's first time in ages that I'm really glad to have been proven wrong. So brilliant.
Yeah. It was one of those matches where, I don't know about you, but I went through a range of emotions in 90 minutes. And, thankfully the last sort of 15 minutes were pretty good. But before that, I was feeling frustration. I was feeling resigned at 1-1. I mean, a few people on a WhatsApp group that I'm on, would have confirmed that as well. But thankfully we came good and we got the goal at the right time. But even that was a little bit fortuitous, because the ball that was cut back from Billing wasn't great. It managed to get a touch, and thankfully it fell to Phil Bill. Deflection. But sometimes those little breaks are all you need, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. I was very happy that we got 3, because that doesn't happen that often. Even though, it's very good that we got 3. Unfortunate to concede a goal, but that's just the way of football, really. But ultimately, it's nice to see a bit of a change from we've had this before, we've gone 1-0 up and we'd lose a game or draw it. So it's a nice change of pace. And hopefully we can keep the momentum going against Blackburn and hopefully give a little playoff push while we're at it.
So do you think we can?
I think I'm going to completely change my tune from last time, because I sounded pretty defeated last time because it's the Barnsley game. But it's a bit more reasonable now. I think if we manage to string a few results together, I think playoffs will be perfectly achievable.
We are so fickle, George. We are so fickle.
I was literally going to say that. That was going to be my thing. I was going to say that.
I love it.
Life of a Bournemouth fan changes. It literally changes week by week.
And all we want is just that, this good feeling, but consistently now. And the teams that we're playing over the next couple of games, surely, if we're going to be serious playoff contenders, we've got to be beating them. That's it. We just have to be beating Blackburn, have to be beating Coventry.
Yeah, definitely. I think just any game at the moment, just get the 3 points if we can, and just keep the momentum going. Like, this could be the start of something if we play our cards right. Should be all right.
Brilliant.
And I think up the Cherries.
Up the Cherries, George. Thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate you, mate.
Right.
Thanks, George.
Thanks very much, Keith. I'll keep you on for a while, because
no worries, mate.
A couple of faces that I'm sure you'll be loving to be in the same room as now, Mr. Kirk Tovey.
Oh, golfing extraordinaire, I hear, Kirky.
My back's just about recovered.
Also, we're going to have Mark, who appeared on screen with you very, very recently. Mark's here as well. Mark, you right, mate?
Hi, Sam. Yeah, good to see you again. How you doing?
Yeah, very well, very well. Kirk, your analysis of that?
Yeah, I thought it was really positive to start with. It was good to see that we had some urgency back to front. Early doors, we were creating chances. Danjuma was in the mood. Phil Billing loves that freedom that he has, because he's got that protection behind him. And we're seeing a player come of age. I think it's the only position he can probably play, because he hasn't got a lot of responsibility, but he's got that little bit of class. You know what? It would have been so easy for him to go down in the box, wouldn't it? but he kept his feet just about, and he put the finish away. He doesn't score tap-ins, old Phil, and he got an assist as well. So yeah, it was good to see. Look, we don't make matches easier for ourselves. I always frustrated when we play that well for large spells of the first half, and we only go 1-0 up, or going at half time 1-0 up. That is a concern. But we do have talent in this team, and we got over the line today. We just need to keep doing that, because we need 17 points, I think, minimum, because we'll probably get an extra point with a goal difference. So, and that should be enough. And with Reading having a tougher running, I fancy us over Reading, and we don't need to beat both Barnsley and Reading. We just need to get ahead of one. So up for one of the teams to win tonight.
Interestingly, you say 17 points. If we had got, with the teams that we've got left before today, if we had the same outcomes as the reverse fixtures earlier on in the season, we would get 20 points. But I can't see us winning at Norwich, so maybe 17 points is about right. But do you think that would be enough?
Well, you say that, but they drew away at Preston today, and that's the Championship. And on any day,
don't give me hope, Kirk. Stop giving me hope.
And on any day, we can beat any football team, but that's the same for anyone, because we've dropped points against teams that we shouldn't have dropped points against. But I feel like something's happening here. The last time we were in this position going into Easter in the Championship was the famous 2014-15, and we picked up, how many points did we pick up? 17. And I think we need 17. So I'm trying to cling on to something, and I think we'll get there. I said it all season. I was on a show the other day talking about the Championship, and I'm not going to pull out now. Reading will not make the playoffs.
Ooh,
yeah, I agree.
Burn. Yeah, Keefy T, will change it up. But any final thoughts from you, sir?
Yeah, it's just about getting those 3 points, isn't it? And keeping trying to be consistent. Obviously, Woody's done some good work over the period, but yeah, it's take each game as it comes. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We've got Brentford as well. They're lying in wait, and they will score freely. So there's a couple of tough games towards the end, and Stoke is our last game of the season. And that's not going to be easy. So let's just manage our own expectations. Good 3 points today. Let's see if we could do it again on Monday, and then just keep going, keep plugging away, and we'll see what we can do.
Brilliant, Keith. Mate, nice to have you on. Good to see you looking so well. Almost look like you caught the sun there a little bit, mate.
Oh, it doesn't take any amount of sun for me to end up like a lobster. I'm terrible. I'm really pasty, and but it's lovely to have the sun out after the long hard winter and lockdown and all that sort of thing. So things are turning around, guys. So
yeah, good. I'm glad to hear it, mate.
Anyway, guys,
great to see you.
Cherries. See you later,
mate.
boys.
Cheers, mate. We'll get over for a beer in Milford very soon. Bring in John Spark as well now. But before John appears on screen, Mark, thoughts on that?
I'm going to second what Keith just said there, really. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I mean, my match analysis was we started again really, really strongly. I then fell asleep, woke up just for their goal. And that seemed to then wake us up again. So, I mean, Billing has seemed to, starting to really flourish in that position now. I can't remember the last time anyone's come on here and actually mentioned anything negative. Whereas at the back end of last season, and probably even the beginning of this season, that's all we could really sort of talk about to a degree. So, listen, it's job done. It's 3 points that's on the table, 3 important points. And obviously with the results going our way as well, with, Cardiff losing today, us beating Boro, that gives us a little bit of a breather from the teams below us. So now we've just got to keep looking up.
And I reckon Mark's a bit of a good luck charm, Sam.
No, I think he is. I think he's got to be, I've got to say. And it was weird during that match. I don't actually usually look at Twitter much during matches, I've got to say. But, today I did, and I had a few things in my head. And John Spark there was basically reading my mind over every single tweet he put out today, because your thoughts just mirrored mine. I mean, how did you analyse that performance from start to finish, John? If you can.
Well, you know what they say about great minds, don't they, Sam?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think most people probably would have looked at us as sort of as a weird sort of curves. We sort of started well, fell off for the last 20 minutes of the first half and the first sort of 10-ish minutes of the second, and then the goal comes and kicks us up the backside, and from basically the first meaningful attack of the second half, thanks to 3 horrendous touches from Morsey, Billing gets it to Lerma, and Lerma puts it in the back of the net with a nice little deflection. So, yeah, I mean, it's not the same level of performance that we put against Swansea for me. Certainly not with we didn't put in a 90 minutes this game, but there's definitely some positives to look at there. You've got to look at Billing continuing to thrive in that position. I think. As much as I think Solanke had some rather poor touches and was a bit slow on his decision making at times, he did put the work in as usual. He got the goal, and no matter how it goes in, I mean, that's about as good as a tap in as you're going to get with when he manages to get the ball back from the keeper. The defender doesn't do a thing with it, and then the keeper tries to save it and jumps over the ball. It all sort of worked out for Solanke in the end for that third goal. I'd just like to see us maintain a performance level. Middlesbrough weren't that great today. They had to put in a fantastic slide tackle to stop Solanke in the first half. There was other bits, and there was a breakaway that we could have had a 2-on-1 in, but Danjuma put in a back heel rather than actually just trying to pass it to someone. There was
Stacey's cross as well, haven't you?
Great, and we still let them score and didn't do much for 40 minutes. So yeah. I'd just like to see us play for 90 minutes going forward. And 3 goals in the last 2 games in a row is fantastic. There was much more for the taking there today if we'd actually been on it for all of the game.
We've got Mason here. This is audio only, but Mason, hopefully you can hear us okay. Mason, you all right?
Yep.
Good, good man. Did you enjoy that performance today?
Yes, I did.
Good stuff. What did you like about it today? Because I thought that for the first third, we were really good. For the second third, we weren't very good. And then for the last third, we were. It was almost like a game of 3 thirds. What did you think of it?
It was a good performance.
Yeah. Who stood out for you today? Who was your favourite player?
I didn't actually watch the game today.
Oh, you didn't actually see it?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, what are your hopes ahead of the Blackburn match on Monday then? Because momentum is key. Can you give us a prediction?
2-1, Bournemouth.
2-1 Bournemouth. Mason, perfect. Thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. It was only brief. The line was a little bit funny there. Mark, then, did you want to pick up on any John's points? Because I thought he made some good points there, and you pointed out at some. Well, more than one occasion, the delivery into the box was really bad. It was either slightly behind them, or Danjuma in the first half, his kind of left foot didn't seem so strong today, and he sort of miskicked it. There are a number of occasions where we let ourselves down in the final third.
It seems to be quite a bit of a trend with us, Sam, and this was again prevalent within like Project Restart. Maybe not so much at the beginning of the season, but then as we started to tail off, through November, December, and obviously the beginning of the year, where we seem to be synonymous with like losing the ball or getting into like some really, really good positions, and then we're just trying to walk the ball into the net, and it's almost like we're trying to play very Arsenal-esque. And play pretty football, whereas there've been a number of occasions today. I think was it Billing as well. He was like hovering around like the 18-yard box in the first half, and I was literally just screaming. I was screaming at the TV, just absolutely leather it. The guy's got some confidence in him at the moment, and we've seen what he can do with his left boot. So just have a go. I'd much rather we have a shot on target, and if it goes just sort of narrowly wide, rather than just keep trying to play it out onto the wings. I mean, you have to question sometimes what goes through a footballer's mind when you got Stacey, who's what like 10 yards away from Dom Solanke, and somehow can't play a ball in his run for him just to have an easy tap in. But end of the day, the 90 minutes are up. We scored 3 goals. That's another +2 to our goal difference. We're on +20 now, and it's 3 points. You can't do any more than that at the end of the day. So it does have to be a positive, despite as much as we can all sit here and say we could have done more.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant stuff, Mark. Thanks very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me again, Sam. Take care.
Cheers, buddy. Thanks very much. And we seem to have a few issues with the connection today, John, because we had two of you on screen at once just a moment ago. And I thought, my lucky day. But it seems to be a little bit better now. But trying to sum that up today then.
Well, I mean, I think I've summed up my thoughts for the most part there. I just want to see 90 minutes from us next game. You know, Blackburn went and lost to Wickham today, so they're not exactly in the best of form. But it's not like they don't have one of the best strikers in the league in the team, and you know, a 17-year-old and Harvey Elliott who really could pull something out of nothing at any moment. So, you know, even if it was a repeat of our first game of the season, 3-2 would be great. Just any 3 points at the moment is just what we need. I was just looking at the comments actually. Harry puts up a great question there about asking what do we think that Woodgate. It was a bit earlier on, I think. What would Woodgate have to do to get a contract? And I think, unfortunately for me, Woodgate's kind of in a catch-22 because whether he succeeds or he doesn't, I wouldn't be offering him a new contract because if he fails to get us into the playoffs, then he's failed. If he doesn't get us promoted from the playoffs, he's failed. And if we go into the Premier League, I would want a more experienced manager. Yeah. And there is no reason to, or rather, there would be nothing to lose in terms of he's only got 6 months, so he's only managed us to the end of the season. And I would still want to keep him on. I'd want him on as a coach without a doubt, but I still would rather have a more experienced manager come in to replace him. And unfortunately, unless he manages to turn the team into world beaters and we go and win 3 points from every game from here till the end of the season, there really isn't much he can do for me to convince me to say that he would be the best man going forward.
And you know, like, is it often in football where like a manager gets, you know, demoted but actually stays on as a coach? I mean, does that happen often, or do you think it would be a case of he would just probably go? I'm not too sure.
I don't know of any instances. I mean, I'm sure there's. It's not something I keep on top of much, I suppose. But there's definitely times, obviously, when you've got two managers, those are joint managers. But again, if I don't think there's ever a case where it's one sacked and not the other. I don't know. I think considering he was brought in he was here 3 days before he was made temporary manager. So he definitely could. I don't know whether you need the precedent to send him further back down to a coach and have him as a backup to a manager. But
no.
Yeah, I think I would still like to keep him on, but I don't think he should be our manager going forward past the end of this season, personally.
Before we close with Kirk, we got Jack coming on audio only. Jack, how are you, mate?
Yep, I'm fine.
Good stuff. Enjoy that.
I haven't watched the game.
Okay, well, 3-1 though. Pretty good result, eh?
Yes.
Excellent stuff. I can't really ask you who's your favourite player given you didn't watch it, but what's your prediction for Blackburn on Monday?
3-1.
3-1. You 2 3-1s in a row. And you said on chat that you've got a point to say. Fire away.
That point is, I'm going to assume Norwich and Watford are promoted. And Bournemouth, Barnsley, Brentford and Swansea will be in the playoffs. Okay, so whereabouts do you think Bournemouth will finish, though? Do you think it'll be 6th, or do you think we can finish higher than that in 5th? 6th. 6th, okay. Interesting. Okay, I might ask Kirk that question. You've raised a good point there. Thanks very much, Jack. John's gone for now. I think he's got internet issues there. But Kirk, I mean, 6th place, we're all hoping that we can get into the playoffs. But if we get momentum, who would it be? Probably Brentford we would face?
Yeah, so I think Norwich and Watford are going to go up. I hate to say it, but I think Watford will take automatics. I think Brentford, they did the same last year. They've got a 28 goal scorer, as we know. I had to mention it because you brought it up. They're going to be fine. They'll be in 3rd because if you've got a striker like that, you're going to be up there. Swansea are the weakest team in there, but they've probably only got to get another 6 to guarantee them the playoffs. And then it's a fight between Barnsley, Reading and Bournemouth. I think Barnsley have got a nice run in. And if they've got a manager who will get enough points, they've got an erratic goalie that might cost them a few points, but I think they'll do it. Reading have got a really tough run in, and I think they've got some big teams to play, and I think the wheels will come off. I don't think they'll do it. We'll sneak in there. We might get sixth, which means we'll probably end up playing Brentford, but I fancy us over 2 games. Barnsley will probably beat Swansea, and let's have a Bournemouth-Barnsley final. And the 3 teams that came down will go back up, which was the same 3 teams that went up in 2014-15.
Mate, oh God, you said a few things today that have really made me hope. You really made me hope. Thank you so much.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
Yeah, Ivan, thanks so much for the super chat that you just saw on screen. Really, really love doing all this, and you know what Kirk does, you know what I do, you know what everyone's doing on YouTube. I think it's superb to provide people with options of different things to watch, and yeah, a lovely little community that's going on all over the place. And Steve Hensman as well. Stop donating! I've told you to stop because you keep on doing it. Appreciate it. We're going to get a mug to you soon, Steve, because you paid for one. Thanks very much. Great win today. Can't chat, but up the cherries. Good stuff. Right, Kirk, thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Have a good Easter.
Thank you. You too, sir. You too. And thank you very much for watching. We really appreciate all your comments, especially the super chats as well. The super chats guarantee your message gets read out on screen. There's so much activity on the right-hand side. It's very difficult for me to really compute what's going on there whilst also thinking of things to say. And I probably missed out a load of key questions. That's why tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, we have got a live show. And there's lots to discuss. Firstly, if you're a Celtic fan watching this, 10 things that Eddie will give you. Me and the team will be discussing it. We'll be doing a second look on this, plus a preview. There's no face-off because of the quick turnaround. We'll be doing a preview of the next game on Easter Monday. Remember to like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it if you did that. Thanks for all your support. And also, if you want to buy us a coffee, you can do so. It's afcbbpodcast.com/coffee. There's going to be a player rating show over the next few days. Thanks so much for tuning in. This has been Back of the Net. We'll see you soon.